And to lessons from the Entrepreneur tonight, the unfortunate loss encountered by businesses can be best managed by securing them from such eventualities. Today we delve into the discussions on what measures we can have in place to ensure our businesses face risks and disasters better. With me is Adelaide Odhiambo, the Executive Director of Blue Wave Insurance Agency. Welcome to the set tonight.
Thank you.
We talk insurance.
Yes, let's talk insurance.
Insuring our businesses. I don't know. How is our uptake in Kenya? Are we receptive to the whole business insuring of our businesses? Really?
Unfortunately, just leave alone businesses. Insurance in general has a very low uptake in the continent. Across the globe, across the continent rather, insurance uptake is still below 2% of the GDP, meaning that we have a humongous population that still are underinsured. Most of this, the bulk of those were insured actually in Southern Africa, but if you look at East Africa, the statistics is just the same. It's glaring, less than 3% overall. So insurance uptake is something that still requires quite a lot of incentivization. There's still a lot of information, misconceptions about what insurance really is, and that's why the uptake has been really low overall.
So that's when it comes to personal insurance. So we talk about business insurance.
Yes.
Is that a different story? Is it even worse there?
It is a lot worse. It's a lot worse in business because if we're at least specifically targeting or talking about the SME segment, most of these are small business owners, and they'll assume that insurance is only taken by the huge factories. There's the risk only falls with those who are maybe doing and running the bigger businesses. And they forget that even at their own level, insurance is very, very necessary and important for safeguarding their business.
But it's because we think insurance is very costly. When you think of insurance, you're thinking, it's going to charge me so much. But I need that money to grow my business. It's just starting. Talk about that. Is that a misconception as well?
A huge misconception. The idea that insurance is only for the rich is a huge misconception and an unfortunate one, because I would say, in fact, those who are wealthier, bigger factories have had a lot more time to amass their profits. They have a lot more buffers. They have bigger ways to safeguard their profits in different kind of investment arms. But as a small business, you are more likely to suffer a big financial shock when your business goes down due to risk events. So they are, I would say, in my own opinion, are the ones who need it the most to ensure that there is sustainability and growth, and that the insurable risks are not really the shocks that force them to shut down. Which is an unfortunate thing many times.
So how do we look at it for me to decide at this point? I have started my business it's been about a year now. Is that a good time for me to start thinking insurance?
You start thinking insurance before you set up your business.
Thinking backwards.
You work right from the start. When you're putting your business plan together, when you're thinking about capital, when you're thinking about location, think insurance, because insurance covers you from the point when you pay your premium. You can walk out of your building, you've safeguarded, you've stocked up, you've put everything, and a small fire lights up your entire stock that you've saved for years to come. So when you're building your business case, when you're putting your plans in place for insurance, for your business, insurance has got to be at the top of the list, for safeguarding your business altogether.
So we think about fires. Right now, I think the most rampant thing that's actually disturbing a lot of businesses. Think about stalls at toy markets and Gikomba. What would be your advice for people who have such vendors, vendors who are running such stalls?
You bring a really good point. We have been insuring some of our clients in Gikomba market. We have insured some of our clients at toy market especially. And at first, it was really challenging because the products, most of the insurance companies at first would say, you know what, this is a class 3 or class 4 risk because it's not the structures are not in like full cement, they're not built of stone. How is the roofing material, which can really trigger a shock, a fire event faster. But we put together a group of these business owners, and we came together, and the pooling of numbers gives them a lot more insurance, like what is called a critical mass. So when there's a critical mass, you find that you have a much bigger say on controlling the premiums and even the product altogether. You might find that if you walk to any insurance company on your own, maybe a toy market vendor with just a small kiosk, you walk into any of the insurance companies, there's a very high likelihood that you're very high risk because you're an outlier.
Okay.
They might even suspect that you're probably trying to trigger a risk event to make a claim.
Oh, wow.
But when there's a population, there's a critical mass that gets very exciting because now we are covering a larger base of people and the risk is distributed. That means you'll share better premium and you have a better chance of getting cover.
Oh, so so then what I'm understanding is that it's better for a cover for like a market space.
Oh, yeah.
Than for your stall in some isolated place.
Yes. One, the premium will be very expensive.
Okay.
And then two, when you're together, you'll get an advantage of numbers, you'll get an advantage of service as well, because you'll find the insurance company will actually dedicate a lot more time to ensure that the different elements that cater for your needs are taken care of. You might find that you are only worrying about your particular store and safeguarding your stock.
Yeah.
But there could be other risks that are not, that are outliers beyond that, you know, health-wise, there could be risk events, even for example, maybe illegal structures and things like that. So you'll find that when you're together, it creates a much better insurable interest for the insurance company. And what is surprising is some of the premiums are quite affordable. Like some of our clients at Toy Market were covering their stock worth maybe 500,000, 1 million for a year, and the premiums were coming to about 6,000, 7,000 shillings per year.
Hold up, not 20,000.
Not 30, 50,000, 60,000. No. We're looking at premiums that are below 10,000. And should a risk event like a fire, in some cases like in a market, because we cannot really fully quantify the security for burglary, you might find that we may do away with some risks, particularly just to make the product a lot more appealing to the customers from a cost perspective. So be ready even for less than 10,000 shillings. Actually get your stock insured completely and get that peace of mind that you really need and deserve.
So that if I'm insured for fire, for example, and then the protesters come and break into my shop, how do they go about that?
So you'll find that there's some triggers that are not also insured. There's some. You might find that there are some clauses that eliminate or exclude political risks, or they might require you to actually add political risks as a rider. So you find that the premium without political risks is maybe 6,000 shillings, for example. But they might ask you to add maybe 3,000 shillings on top in case of a political trigger. So you'll find that these products they really shoot in interest at a time when maybe, let's say now 2027. Between 2026, you'll find that many people will start looking for fire policies which have political violence built into it. And with the surges of the campaign we had, the campaign season that we had last year, most businesses that had actually safeguarded themselves with the fire with the built-in political violence policy really were on the safe side. So you really literally have safeguarding your business and at an affordable way.
So is it better? Is it easier? I don't know if it's easier. Is easier the right word? But is it different when you're covering for goods compared to services?
Now,
how do you go about that?
So goods, stock, businesses are classified at different levels at where they are, location, the nature at which the building where the goods are, for instance, they're classified differently. Now, there are some classes of goods that are insured very differently because they are maybe highly inflammable. Factories, let's assume factories that manufacture mattresses. Their class and their underwriting, underwriting is how we try to quantify the value of the risk that you're going to be covered, be very different. And now that brings me back to the toy market trader. We can now say that if this population of toy market, in fact, if toy market has, let's say, 1,000 traders, we can very easily quantum that as one scheme and one policy and make premiums very affordable and easy instead of going to cherry pick. You're selling shoes, you're selling devices, you're selling clothes, you're selling childwear and cotton and whatever. So there are all different ways that we look at insurance depending on the goods and services, but sometimes also we look at that quantum of where the place is. So you'll find like Gikomba, most of those traders have loans, have microfinance loans that they have taken out to be able to
capital, expand their business, that kind of thing.
The beauty with some of the insurance policies now is they have what is called an enhanced credit life. So when you're taking your loan facility or your capital to actually safeguard, to purchase capital for your stock, they can also add a rider which actually covers your business to some extent. So there's a lot of innovation in the sense, not really innovation, it's been there for quite a while, but there's a lot of things that are spreading across. So be curious when you're taking up a loan facility. Demand to know if there's an opportunity for you to maybe even just increase your loan repayments a little bit.
A little bit, yes.
But cater for a wider scope in regards to insuring your people. See if they can cater for increasing your limit just a little bit, but safeguarding yourself with some of the more compliant insurance policies, you know, like WIBA, which is a mandatory requirement. And for the services, you mentioned something to do with the services so that we don't just focus on the traders alone. There are services, the people who maybe law firms, they have doctors, you have dentists, and you also have a big risk because one small mistake, one small liability in a lawsuit can actually wipe out your client and you can be sued for that. Doctors sometimes have made errors during surgeries. They're running a small practice, a few doctors in it, and one lawsuit can wipe them out completely. So you go for services that can also cater for you, take care of your employees and cater for the integrity of your business such that such risks do not push you out of business completely. Those are called like professional indemnity, which are added into the policy.
So is it different when you're insuring businesses, for example, traders who are doing, you know, vending and here and there, and those in the agribusiness sector? Because, you know, they're taking care of, you know, crops and they're taking care of animals and that kind of thing. Talk about that a bit.
So there's a lot of diversity in insurance. They're all different. They're called different classes. They're called classes of business. So agribusiness is a whole class of business on its own. Dealing with crops, dealing with droughts, dealing with the high intense heat wave that we're experiencing now, that was perhaps not predicted on the tables a few years ago. You'll find that some people maybe are experiencing shocks now. They have grown, small-scale farmers especially, and who are rain-based. They depend on rain. And there's been a lot of fluctuations, especially in Kenya. In the last year, the rains have been coming at a very different time. So you planted your seeds, and 1-2 months down the line, there was no rain, and the seed was completely destroyed. So weather-based policies are treated differently. We take years and years of weather data and we simulate that, and we can be able to see triggers of when specific things will happen. What's really interesting is in the livestock space now, there's a lot of they're very innovative products as well. You're keeping a brood of chicken, you have 1,000 chicken, 2,000 chicken. We all know how sensitive chicken can be. Those can be wiped out overnight with some crazy
in one instance,
flu. So we have now products for that as well. So even if you're a small-scale trader and you're in the agribusiness space, there are products. Now the beauty, again, it's still the same with associations. Insurance is all about numbers and that pooling of risks together. So the closer you are to an association, the closer you are to a group of people dealing with the same space that you are in, the better you get an advantage. But there are definitely products. Green, there's a lot of a big boost on greenhouses now. There's lots of greenhouse insurance that can either protect you from your anticipated profits. Now, the beauty with greenhouses, it's very predictable. Because the environment is very controlled, so even disease and weather, they don't get really affected. So you'll find that I expect to make $1 million shillings every 3 months out of my tomato greenhouse. And you can insure that. Insure that for maybe something in the range of about 15,000. And that can guarantee you that no matter what, your profits would have been 1 million, you will get your 1 million and the like. So insurance is diverse in that sense. You look at crops, you look at life. We have not even started touching on life and health. You could be running your small business and a health shock, not just yours, even your mother's.
And employees in there, right?
Or your child. And then you find yourself now going back into your business profits or your capital to be able to cater for those. So take care of your business holistically. It's not as scary in a premium as you'd imagine, and insurance is certainly not just for the rich.
But when it comes to claims is where everybody starts rocking their heads, because claims becomes a huge mountain.
Unfortunately.
What is it that makes the whole claims system become so difficult? When you need the money, you need it.
Fortunately, I would say, post-COVID, a lot of things went digital, and really a lot of the processes had to be done remotely because people couldn't congregate to sit and look at paperwork and process that. So a lot of these claims processes to actually even reduce claims fraud is another whole monkey on its own. And it's known that almost 80% of Africans who have had insurance and have had a negative experience with insurance. So they've ever heard of somebody who ever didn't get a claim paid. Insurance was always known to have the very complicated jargon. There was never enough time for people to really understand what their policy clauses were. So I think the claims issue always starts with understanding the policy, and that's where a lot of the focus has always been bypassed. Most of us, I'm an agent myself. I want to make that sale and I want to make it really quickly.
And not explain the dotted lines.
But there are lots of advancements really in the insurance space that using technology, using AI, using blockchain to be able to improve even the claims process. We have trends now where you don't wait to make a claim. A trigger just occurs. There's a fire in this place, and we can geomap that fire, and we just pay your claim at a go. Or you buy a home insurance policy, and the moment you put a lodge with the police that there was a burglary, you don't even need to explain what you had in your house. You just need to say, I've been robbed, and the value of what you're supposed to be paid should be paid. So there's a lot of that is being demystified now due to technology, but it is true there was a huge problem with claims fraud or prolonged unnecessary claim process periods, which makes the population really, really anti-insurance altogether.
So as we wrap up this conversation, probably one of the 1, 2, 3s that you can say for any business that is setting up before they take up an insurance, what should be the 1, 2, 3s that they should have in place and in mind?
So in mind, generally think about your health, think about your business and your stock. As I said, it's not as scary in regards to premium. When you're planning where you're going to set up your business, when you're planning where you're going, how much capital you need, you need to put in mind insurance as well. So that has got to be part of your strategic plan. It has to be part of your business case and your business plan to have insurance built in. Because as I said, you will set up today and there can be a fire tomorrow. You can set up today and you'll be robbed by your own employees tomorrow. And there are insurance policies that can also cater for that. So what you need to do is, one, think about your health. Your health and your well-being is paramount. If you cannot wake up and go to work or run the next day, you cannot afford to go to hospital to get treated, your business is not going to run. Secondly, you need to ensure that you have planned for insurance, plan for any eventuality so that you can leave the worrying about those risks to the insurance company. And you focus on being now fully driven. Now, another thing is some things cannot be fully insured. Like, there's some catastrophic events that even if you had the most sophisticated insurance policy, might not safeguard you. So business continuity plans go beyond just the risk insurance only. So build in processes, build in a business continuity plan in place to ensure that your data is safeguarded, that you can be able to restock appropriately in areas where insurance will just return you to where you were before before the risk event occurs. But there's some other nitty-gritties like data losses, etc., that you might need to recover, and many times they come at a cost, and you need to have that taken care of as well.
Well, this conversation can go on and on. There's so much to learn about insuring our businesses, but as Adelaide has just told us, it is important. We must take that bold step and insure our businesses. Thank you so much from the Executive Director of Blue Wave Insurance Agency for making time to come and speak to us as entrepreneurs on how to ensure that our businesses are insured.